This conference will now be recorded.
This is Jonathan Maley with Andrew Patton from ImageTech Systems, and today we're highlighting ImageTech solutions for insurance and some of our insurance-related customers. In this particular video, we're going to demonstrate how we leverage Kofax Total Agility for ACORD forms processing. For more information, you can visit the URL in the bottom right corner of your screen, which is imagetechsys.com, or email sales@imagetechsys.com. So most folks within the insurance industry will recognize the acronym ACORD, right? And that stands for Association for Operations, Research, and Development. ACORD, the organization, is essentially a standards developer, meaning they set forth the universal language and the documentation that certainly most insurance agencies use. We have the capability to use Kofax Total Agility, or what you'll hear us call KTA, for processing any number of ACORD forms, right? What you see here is really just a partial list of some of the most common, but for demo purposes, Andrew's going to use the ACORD 125 and ACORD 130 samples that we have available here, and we're going to step through the entire process of forms processing from the very beginning, which is multi-channel capture, or what we'll call ingestion of those files from a variety of sources, and then kind of explain how Kofax Total Agility handles things like classification and data extraction and some of the back-end processing. Andrew is likely going to mention the extent to which the layouts and the user interface can be customized and configured based on your specific interests. That applies in validation and quality control and some of the other steps in the process. We're also going to show what's happening behind the scenes, leveraging Kofax, the Kofax platform's process orchestration capabilities or workflow. And then finally, as you might imagine, there are business rules capabilities here, and those can be as complex as you need them to be. Andrew's going to talk about integrations with other systems and things like that. So with that, Andrew, let me pass to you. I'll stop my screen share and you can start yours.
All right. Thank you, John.
And I see it.
Wonderful. All right. So like John said, we're going to go through a few steps here. The first one is going to be ingestion. We've got here a couple of different ACORD forms, as he said, the 125 and the 130. I'll just open one up to show you. Here we've got a commercial insurance application for Phillips Insurance. And we have a watched folder called import that we've set up with KTA. Whenever any documents go into this folder, KTA will take notice and start the linked process. Let's get that started. We'll drop these documents into the folder. And while those are being processed, let's take a look at the behind the scenes part of the designer. So here we've got the capture and extraction process that we're going to send these forms through. Right now they're hitting the classification step. So in KTA, the transformation designer, we have set up a couple of different document variations, and those documents right now are being classified into one of those variations and recognized by the system. Depending on the confidence level, we could have it move on to the extraction step straight off. For this demo, we're going to force them to go to a human interaction step of document review. And at this point, they should be there. So I'm going into my work queue and going to refresh that. There we go. Now we're going to step into the document review process. And here will pop up the document review screen. So at this point, it's ready to move on because the system is very confident that the document is classified correctly as one of the main types that we're looking out for, as a 125 common policy. I've just slowed down, haven't sent it through straight off to approval yet, just to take a look at this screen. We have the document over on the right, thumbnails at the bottom. This is a 2-page document. And over on the left-hand side, we have the name of the document and the type. See, it's been classified with a very high confidence as a 125 common policy document type. I'll go ahead and approve this step. And here is the same step for the 130 document. Let's take a look at the job and you can see where this document has come from. It's gone through the classification step. And as I said, we forced it along the path as if it were not confident enough so that we could take a look at the document review process. In a second, I'm going to approve this one as well. Just give a sneak peek of where it's going next. That'll be to extraction. And we've set up a number of fields to extract, from the address to the insured name. We'll see a number of those fields in a moment. And then it's going to go on to the validation. Let's just go back to the document review. We'll see that the 130 document has been correctly classified, 99.9% confident, as a type 130. So we'll go ahead and approve that one as well. And here is the first document at the validation step. So it's passed through extraction, and you'll see the document again pop up over on the right. We'll minimize the navigation field just to give a full view of this field section. So over on this side, we have a number of fields: addresses, carrier, business owners, all things that we have customized for this particular field, for the type of for this type of document, and in fact this subtype of document. There are a number of fields that are shared between it and the 130, but there are also a number of unique fields. There's a good amount of customization that you can do with this extraction process. Now we're at validation, and it has flagged one field, the boiler and machinery premium, that it doesn't like being empty. That's a rule that you can set up. That's one example. You can do a number of different types of rules to make sure that quantities match up, or quantities sum or just are not blank. In this case, we've got a rule that says that this field cannot be blank. I'm going to assume that since it's blank, its value should be 0. So I'll type that in and hit enter in order to validate it. And at this point, it has no further problems. You can see that the formerly red highlight field over here has changed to green. It accepts the 0. And since all of the other fields are valid, I'm going to go ahead and complete this activity. Go on through validation. And for the 130, we'll do the same thing in a second. I'm just going to give you a sneak peek of where it's going to go after this. So it's gone through document review, extraction, validation. After this, it's going to pull some variables. It's going to set the document type according to the classification from earlier. And it's going to loop through. In our process, we have it querying for the proper agent to assign this form to. And then based on the type of document it is, we're going to send an email to the appropriate agent. We're going to gather the timestamp, and then we're going to do an export of the document into SharePoint. Finally, we're going to see an export of the different fields that we've gotten through the extraction and the validation. I'll go back to the validation process. You'll see that it's happy with all the fields, so I could take a look at that. We've got no problems here. And again, many similar fields to the 125, but also some unique ones as well. We'll go ahead and approve that. And in very short order, in fact, we can see the first document. They'll be uploaded to SharePoint. We've set up a documents library in our SharePoint site. And this should be that 125 commercial insurance form for Philips Insurance. And in about another minute or sooner, we'll see the 130 roll in as well. And that should be this one. So we've uploaded the actual document image to SharePoint, but just as important, we have moved the extracted information into an export folder. Right now it's a flat file, which can be imported to potentially an external back office or an ERP system, but we could just as easily send this information to SharePoint in the form of a list, or send the relevant information in the form of an email. There are a number of different options. This export was done through some of Kofax's built-in out-of-the-box export connectors. Flat file is what is most useful in our demo today, but there are a number of built-in connectors that you can use to export to several systems. We could have also hooked this up to Kofax RPA in order to work it into some sort of workflow. There's the file for the 130 as well. So that's about the last step for the ACORD import and export process.
All right. Thanks, Andrew. Great demo. I'm glad you talked about the flat files, EDI. You mentioned robotic process automation. In a follow-up demo, we will likely showcase ImageTech's own Claims Automate solution, which is also built on Kofax Total Agility. I know some customers, see value in being able to extend the processing workflows and use biller portals and things like that, which is all, functionality built into Claims Automate. So thanks very much for the demo and for everyone's time today. Anything else, Andrew, you'd like to cover?
I don't think so.
Alrighty. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.